Hi, friends. To quote Monty Python, and now for something completely different. After I introduce a tune, I pretty much experiment with it myself and then I play it for you. And I was thinking yesterday, well, I'm cutting out those middle steps. I'm not sharing that with you. We're a community of folks helping each other, and I think it's really important for me to share more of my process with you. And out of that, I'd really like to hear from you guys some of the things you do too. So I learn a tune enough to transcribe it, to verify it. I've listened to it a few times. I've played it through, and then I share it with you all. And I've probably spent more time learning about the tune than learning the tune. But I know it well enough to play it through for you when I introduce it. But I don't know it well enough to just go to town with it. And so, since introducing the Rolling Waves Jig, also called Maguire's March Jig, Maguire's Kick, the Lonesome Jig, I actually, in looking it up, I found more people playing it as the Lonesome Jig, which was kind of good. But what I wanted to do today was to actually walk you through some of my practice on a tune. I've talked about it, but I've not really done this together. As I practice a tune, I'll really spend, a couple hours on a day or an hour, and then do the same thing in the afternoon after doing that in the morning, and then do it the next day. I really kind of need to get the tune in my blood. After getting the tune really into my system, I then spend more time listening to how folks play it. I've said this, I'll listen to different people play it in the whistle, but a lot of times I'm wanting to hear it played by a group. I'm wanting to hear it played on some other instruments as well to get a broader feel for what folks are doing. But the first thing I do is to just familiarize myself with the tune. I've played it through a little slowly. So you've already heard that. I try and pick up the pace next. And bear in mind, I've let this sit since I introduced it because I wanted this experience. I'll play it through a little faster and see where my fingers fumble. And then I'll go back and work on that. And then I'll repeat some of the phrasings. I'll go through the tune, I'll experiment. I might throw an ornament or two in just to try something, but this is not really my ornament section. This is my getting my brain and fingers acclimated to the tune. I wanted to do that with us. So, the Rolling Waves Jig, Lonesome Jig, I'm just going to go through it, some of it. I won't take you through my whole process, but I want to introduce some of what I do. So this is me playing through the tune, finding where I'm going to mess up, and then going back, and I'll go back to that section, and I'll work it again. So I'm going to have some commentary as I do this. I normally don't talk to myself as I practice. Interesting. I noticed my index finger on my lower hand wanted to stay as I was going from the E, F sharp, A to the D, and it felt like I was able to stabilize more, and it didn't impact the tune much. So, okay, I might do that. right, so I'm getting back into the flow of remembering the tune. I introduced it. Wow, that was 2 days ago. No wonder I'm rusty. You set a new tune aside for a couple of days and you get rusty, right? All right, let's run some of that another time. And sometimes I will just force myself to play it a little faster. And I know I've not really said that to you before. I normally say play it well and then keep that going. Sometimes I want to push the envelope so that I really see how I'm doing. Now, I'm not going to walk you through my whole process because this is what I'll keep doing. I'll push myself a little. I'll back it back. And then I just have to get that tune in my brain and my fingers. I've not really quite done that yet. So please bear that in mind. The next thing I'll do is I'll start going through and thinking through some ornaments. And then I'll just experiment with that. But I'll dial it back a little further before I speed it up on that. I like that end of that, the A part, going from the B to the C sharp to the D. That's a kind of a fun step up. I think I do the same thing all the time now. I feel like I want to hit some of those notes more. I'm thinking maybe some sharp tonguing. I feel like I'm just hitting the same thing. So I'd experiment with that for a while. I want to slide a bit either to that E because I've got more time. Oh, that I might like that. Oh, I might cut the E a little short and slide to the F sharp. So anyway, that's what I'll do there. I'll go through, I'll play the tune again a number of times to get it more fluid. And after I get it more fluid, I then start saying, well, let me play with some ornaments that I'm feeling. And then I'll listen to some other folks. And I've not done that yet because I want to hear what some other folks are doing. And I want to then be able to bring that into, oh, I like that or I like that. And then I'll try and replicate that. And, to be honest, I don't always play it the same way twice. I'll experiment with different ways of playing it. I'll ornament it in particular ways. And there are some things I make note of. And I think, oh, I like that. And then I'll stick that in most of the time. But even when I'm playing the A part and repeating it, I don't want to play the A part twice exactly the same. You want the tune to feel alive. And so I don't want to just quote myself on the second time through the A or the B part. So I want to experiment with that. So I'm really just in the early stages of getting to know this tune better. And I'm not going to take you through more of what I'm doing. It's pretty fumbly today. But what I wanted to do was to pull back the curtain and say, well, I've introduced the tune. Now I'm really getting to know it. And as I get to know it, My fingers need to get to know it, and then I'm going to start adding some more things in. I just wanted to share that step of my process with you. I'm not sure where you are in your process of learning this tune. Give yourself time, learn it, the basics. Then nail the tune a little better. You saw how I'm still figuring that out with this one. Then pick up the pace a little. Then, when you're comfortable there, dial it back and add in some ornamentation. I thought, I think I'm going to do this for the friends today. Just to pull back the curtain and show you some of my process. And I hope that was helpful, my friends. I'm going to keep working on it. But you don't need to hang out for that, because it's just a kind of a wash, rinse, repeat of what I've been doing with you. Until next time, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling.